There is a form of discipline that makes people uncomfortable. Not because it is loud, not because it demands attention, but because it does not disappear. Most people understand temporary effort. They understand the person who wakes early for 7 days, the person who trains intensely for 2 weeks, the person who announces a new beginning with absolute certainty. This is familiar. It is temporary. And because it is temporary, it is comfortable. But something changes when a person continues. Quietly, without announcement, without emotional performance, without requiring the approval of anyone around them. When that person still wakes at the same hour months later. When they still perform the same difficult action long after the excitement has died. When they continue on the days when their mind gives them no emotional reward. People begin to notice, and they begin to feel uncomfortable. Why? Because consistency exposes inconsistency. The disciplined person does not need to accuse anyone. Their existence is enough. Their routine becomes a mirror. And most people do not dislike discipline because discipline is cruel. They dislike it because discipline reveals the amount of their life controlled by mood. You tell yourself you need motivation. But what if motivation was never the solution? What if motivation was the weakness? What if the person who needs to feel ready before acting has already surrendered control? The ancient Japanese understanding of discipline contained a dangerous idea. The strongest person is not the one who can force themselves to act. The strongest person is the one who has removed the need to force themselves at all. This is the principle we will examine. A system that does not depend on motivation. A system that does not ask whether you feel inspired. A system that does not negotiate with your emotional state. Because emotions are weather. Discipline must become climate. And when this transformation is complete, you will no longer ask, "Do I feel like doing this?" You will ask only, "What time is it?" Consider a man named Kenji. He is not weak. He is not unintelligent. He does not lack ambition. In fact, he has more ambition than most people. Every few weeks, he begins again. On Monday, he decides to train. He purchases equipment. He creates a schedule. He watches videos about discipline. He becomes convinced that this time will be different. For several days, he performs. Then something changes. He sleeps poorly. His schedule becomes inconvenient. He feels tired. He misses one session. The next day, he tells himself he will compensate. Then another day disappears. Within a week, the system is gone. But Kenji does not consider himself defeated. He simply tells himself, "I will begin again." And he does. Again. And again. And again. This is the hidden addiction of the inconsistent person. Not failure. Beginning. The beginning produces emotion. The beginning produces hope. The beginning allows the person to experience the identity of someone who is changing without enduring the long, silent period in which change actually occurs. Kenji does not need a new goal. He needs a new relationship with action. He believes the problem is motivation. It is not. He believes the problem is lack of time. It is not. He believes the problem is his personality. It is not. The problem is that he has given himself too many opportunities to negotiate. Every day becomes a courtroom. The mind presents arguments. You are tired. Tomorrow will be better. You have already missed one day. You need a more efficient system. You should try something different. And Kenji listens. This is the first illusion. Motivation is emotional permission. You wait to feel the correct emotion before performing the correct action. But emotions are unstable. They rise. They fall. They disappear. A machine cannot operate on inspiration. A river does not ask whether it feels like moving toward the sea. A warrior does not ask whether the battlefield is convenient. Why should your most important actions depend on a temporary chemical state inside your brain? This is not an argument against emotion. It is an argument against obedience to emotion. The ancient warrior understood something modern people often forget. You do not need to feel ready to move. You need a command. And the command must be established before the moment of weakness arrives. This is why fixed practice is so powerful. You decide in advance. You do not wake up and ask, should I train today? The decision has already been made. You do not sit at your desk and ask, should I work? The decision has already been made. You do not wait for the mind to produce enthusiasm. You move because the structure requires movement. Modern neuroscience supports a simple principle here. Repeated actions performed in consistent contexts become increasingly automatic through learning and habit circuitry. The brain becomes more efficient when it does not need to repeatedly calculate the same decision. The goal is not to become a person who constantly defeats resistance. The goal is to become a person who no longer gives resistance a vote. Motivation is unreliable. Structure is reliable. Motivation is a visitor. Structure is a home. And the person who builds their life around visitors will never know what it means to be stable. Kenji believes freedom means having options. Every morning, he chooses. Train now. Train later. Work first. Rest first. Read. Watch something. Change the plan. Improve the plan. Research a better plan. He believes this is freedom. But endless choice creates friction. Every option requires energy. Every decision creates another opportunity for escape. The ancient Japanese concept of disciplined practice is closer to choreography. A dancer does not invent every movement during the performance. The movements have already been decided. This is why the system must contain fixed time and fixed action. Not, I will exercise sometime today. But, at 6:30 I will perform this specific training session. Not, I will work on my goal. But, at 8:00 I will sit at the desk and perform the first defined action. The less you decide in the moment, the less your emotional state can interfere. This is not weakness. It is engineering. A machine does not become free by constantly redesigning its operating system. A military unit does not create a new strategy for every movement. A river does not negotiate with every stone. It continues. Again. 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 The modern mind has been trained to believe that unlimited options equal power. Often, unlimited options equal paralysis. The disciplined person understands a darker truth. Freedom without structure becomes self-destruction. So you must remove choices. Choose the time. Choose the action. Choose the location. Choose the duration. Then stop discussing it with yourself. The decision ends before the practice begins. Kenji becomes bored. He decides his routine needs more variety. He changes his training, changes his schedule, changes his environment, changes his method, changes his goal. He believes novelty will keep him engaged. But novelty is often disguised escape. The beginner loves variety because the beginner has not yet entered depth. A sword is not sharpened by touching 1,000 stones. It is sharpened by repeated contact with one surface. The same movement, the same pressure, the same friction, until the blade changes. This is the principle of repetition. Most people abandon a practice at the exact moment the practice begins to reveal its true value. The early stage is exciting. The middle stage is repetitive. The The deeper stage is transformative. But most people interpret repetition as evidence that something is wrong. The ancient disciplines understood the opposite. Repetition was not punishment. Repetition was the forge. You repeat until the movement no longer belongs to the conscious mind. You repeat until the action becomes choreography. You repeat until the old identity has no place to return. This is why you must stop constantly asking, "What else can I try?" Ask instead, "What can I repeat long enough to become someone else?" Variety entertains the identity you already have. Repetition transforms it.